Welcome to the Anglian Flaneurs. Today we're in Greenwich. We weren't going to do a vlog, but we're celebrating Cassie's birthday and Steve's birthday at the Trafalgar, and it's a great Sunday afternoon in March, really sunny day, so we thought why not do a bit of filming. We were here in late October, a wonderful autumnal day, and we didn't film St Alfege's church as much as I'd liked that day. We were in Blackheath Common, we were in Greenwich Park, so we're going to make up for that today. We're going to get the chance today to look at a magnificent Hawksmoor church in a little more detail, or certainly the outside. We're not going to be able to go inside today. And so far on our walks in the city and in London, we've seen Christchurch, Spitalfield, St Mary's, Walworth and St Anne's Lighthouse. These are the Hawksmoor churches that we've seen in glimpses so far. How did these Hawksmoor churches come about? Well, at the start of it was in 1711, an Act of Parliament was passed for the building of 50 new churches. We're very near the Cutty Sark and Greenwich Market, and we're making our way up to St Alfege's church. We're just passing a couple of nice classic cars for you to enjoy. It's a really wonderful day, temperature about 15-16 degrees. Spring is really in the air today. We're getting our first view of this magnificent building on the right hand side. Look, I'm struggling here as I'm clearly no architect, but reading literature about the church, I'm led to believe it's a mixture of the Gothic and the classical. Just from a personal perspective, this church wouldn't look out of place in the centre of Rome or Athens. Where does the church get its name from? Well, it's the site where St Alfege, Archbishop of Canterbury, was killed by a raiding party of Danes in 1012. I don't know if he did anything to offend the Danes, but clearly they didn't particularly like him, did they? As much as the Danes liked killing and pillaging, I guess they liked money more. So there was a ransom for 3,000 gold marks. St Alfege refused to be ransomed, knowing it could mean starvation for many of his people, and therefore became a martyr. I love the railings that you see around these graveyards and cemeteries. We saw some magnificent ones a couple of weeks ago in West Norwood Cemetery, and these ones aren't bad also. Hawksmoor was born in Nottinghamshire in 1661 into a yeoman farming family. He impressed the great Sir Christopher Wren with his great skill and genius for architecture, who took him on as a clerk at the age of 18. Hawksmoor worked with Sir Christopher Wren on a number of projects, starting off with Winchester Palace between 1683 and 1685. He then progressed on to other projects with Wren, including Chelsea Hospital, St Paul's Cathedral, Hampton Court Palace and Greenwich Hospital. His Baroque but somewhat classical and Gothic architectural form was derived from the exploration of antiquity, the Renaissance, the English Middle Ages and contemporary Italian Baroque. If I'm honest with you, I can't really understand what all those architectural features are. Like many uneducated people in architecture, I only have an extremely vague idea of what those terms mean. St Alfege was the first of the Nicholas Hawksmoor London churches. General James Wolfe is buried and commemorated here in an original painting by Edward Penny. Now, we talked about General Wolfe on our last visit to Greenwich at the end of October. The medieval church on this present site had close links with the Tudor dynasty. Henry VIII was baptised here, and his sister Mary Rose was also married here. Famous worshippers here were people like Samuel Pepys, John Evelyn and Samuel Johnson, and as Greenwich is the place, or was the place of the Royal Observatory, then there are memorials to great astronomers like Sir George Biddle-Airy and Sir Frank Dyson. I really do love this building, though, as I said earlier, I'd really struggle to tell you why. Now, that might seem a bit daft, but I couldn't really put it in any decent architectural terms. It does look such a solid building. But if you look closer, there's so much detail. Just look over these windows here. Just look at these features. It's just not a solid slab. There's so much finery to it. I think I'll leave it there before I descend into complete and utter rubbish. I was going to use another word, but I've got to be careful. We're on YouTube here. I love this juxtaposition of seeing this churchyard with all the tombstones and the tombs set against a background of a modern junction with all the coffee chains and busy cars whizzing past. I've heard people in the past criticise Hawksmoor churches as somewhat minimalist, but just look at the details here on the column and it's anything but. Again, I'm masquerading as someone who knows what they're talking about, so I'll quit while I'm behind. But I hope that my very limited ability behind the camera can do some justice to this wonderful building. We've left one magnificent building and we're now arriving at the other, the Trafalgar Tavern on the Thames. The Trafalgar Tavern, designed by the architect Joseph Kay, opened in 1837, having been built on the site of the old George Tavern. I'm not going to film too much in here as people are having their Sunday lunches. The birthday boys are in top form. Cass is wearing his new shirt and his wife Catherine looks on approvingly. Steve, who has a problem with Stratford High Street, is here with his wife Caroline and daughter Victoria. Doesn't the Thames look magnificent in the late afternoon sunshine? I'll stop talking rubbish for a moment so you can bask in these wonderful views. My wife has just stopped me going in for a swim. I must admit the water does look inviting, though I would imagine it's around about 6-7 degrees. And of course, being serious here, I would not recommend anyone going in for a swim in the Thames. There was a huge amount of traffic on the Thames, and even though the water quality has improved dramatically over the last 50 to 100 years, it is still not clean enough really for a swim. Just a short video today. As I said earlier, we didn't really intend to do a video, but such was the magnificent weather, and we're in Greenwich, and why wouldn't you want to film such a wonderful place and do justice, as we said earlier, to St Alfege's church, which we failed to do when we were here back in October. So it's goodbye from the Anglian Flaneurs. The next stop will be the Dorset coast.